Hello again. Welcome to week 4 of my experience with The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron, a book about unblocking your creativity, finding your voice, and bringing more confidence and authenticity to your creative work, whatever medium it is. My name is Grace, and I'm a creative trying to do all of those things. This week, I had a lot of challenges, but I feel like I've gotten over a hump, so to speak. I learned some valuable things about myself and how I access my motivation, and I'm generally feeling lighter and brighter about my capabilities near the end of this week. I'm going to run through the first 3 check-in questions really quick because I do want to spend a lot of time on the 4th one, which is reflecting on the issues significant to your recovery question. So let's jump in. As always, Julia asks, how many days did you do your morning pages? And in a parenthetical, she says, tantrums often show up as skipping the morning pages. 7 out of 7. Again, I'm writing around 750 words a day. And I don't see myself removing this from my daily habits at this point, and I hope I don't. I think it's funny that she says that thing about tantrums because this week the morning pages were kind of the most exciting part of my day a lot of times, though I did complain and question the process a lot in them though. Second, she asks, did you do your artist date, and does your artist get to do more than rent a movie? What did you do and how did it feel? Again, I just went to the park. I kept it simple. I wanted to go to the museum, but I tried to get my date done earlier in the week this time, and they weren't open. Neither was the glazed pottery shop, and neither was the lemonade place that I love. So I just went to a department store afterwards and got this thing, which felt nice because I had donated a few low-value outfits that she asks you to do in this chapter as well. So it was nice to replace those with something more colorful and something that makes me feel nice. I do think I need to start putting a little more effort into the artist dates and planning them though, because going to the park felt a little bit basic, and I think I'll try to have something more fun mapped out for next week. Third is synchronicity. She asks if you experienced any this week and what was it? I didn't come across any obvious synchronicity this week, but if I had to reach a little bit, I would say I talked to 2 different people I'm close to this week, and they both mentioned creative projects that they've been interested in starting, things that they wanted to engineer all on their own, and that aligned really perfectly with their knowledge and interests. They were very different projects from each other, but I felt the same kind of excitement for each of them when they told me about it. And I could feel myself kind of just like glowing with excitement for them because the idea of them pursuing those things just really filled me with joy. And I think that they both had so much potential because I know they would personally bring a lot of value and expertise to their individual projects. And I really, really hope they both get to actualize someday soon. All right. The 4th check-in is, were there any other issues significant to your recovery this week, and describe them. So in week 4, there is an exercise, a challenge rather, to deprive yourself of reading, to allow for space and to not be inundated with other people's words, as Julia puts it. Since the book was written in 1992, our relationship with reading and other people's words with media is very different today. If I was going to be honest with myself and the exercise, I knew I had to cut out not only reading, but social media and podcasts and YouTube videos as well. She does say you're allowed to listen to music, but it's kind of up to you to make your own rules depending on what your artist needs. And for me, I did allow myself 1 movie a night just so I didn't go completely insane, but it had to be from my DVD shelf and not from a streaming service. Now, I've seen some people briefly mention this exercise before when I was doing research prior to buying the book. I remember someone saying that this exercise is kind of impossible in the modern age if you're going to go about it honestly. But I sort of thought to myself, that just can't be that hard. Time passed and I forgot about it, and then I got to this week and read the instructions for myself, and I was kind of devastated, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't have an angry or defiant reaction, but it was more like depressed and worried. I felt extremely resistant to doing anything this week without my little media treat to accompany it. For example, I like to read while I'm on the treadmill at the gym, and I like to watch YouTube videos or reality TV while I'm painting. Music is fine, but I really like to hear people's voices in the background in a more conversational format. The deprivation took up a surprising amount of mental space. And I was disappointed that I wasn't more productive. Like the book kind of led me to believe I would be without these distractions. I found it the most difficult to not do online searches for things and start reading articles with advice about how to do things, especially Reddit threads about other people's experience with this week. There were some nice moments of quiet, like instead of reading at the gym, I watched some birds out the window, but ultimately I only made it 4.5 days before I decided, you know what, I think I've learned what I need to, and I'm a little bit miserable, so I'm gonna, reflect and call it quits. Overall, I think this week has taught me that it's not media that paralyzes me and prevents me from starting projects. It's something else. I think it's very scary to do things alone without guidance and without someone over my shoulder kind of going, yes, that's okay, you're doing this right. Having some media in the background can help me feel less alone, and it allows me to really zone in and not overthink whatever I'm working on. I also find every distraction around the apartment or in my email inbox to prevent me from just starting the damn thing, whether it's painting or writing. Something I've started to notice about all of the people I really admire is that they're very responsible with their time. They maximize every hour that they're awake, and that's something that I really want to get better about doing. The problem is, not only is social media addictive, I'm also a very curious person, and I want to gather every piece of information I can about something I'm even a little bit interested in. Whether it's how to deal with this difficult situation in my life, what happens next in the fantasy book I'm reading, or what kind of palette knife is the best one to use for mixing my paints. The internet and the wealth of art already out there has made it so easy to access these things at any moment. It's certainly a challenge to have to grapple with more, that I'm going to have to grapple with more. If you're living in the same time period as me, you already know all of this, so I won't drown on. But what I think will be helpful for me to consider going forward is whether I'm consuming media out of curiosity or insecurity, and whether I'm using it to motivate or distract me from doing a task or sitting with a problem. There were several other tasks from this week that I was kind of on. She asks you to write a letter from your younger self to yourself today, and from your 80-year-old self to yourself today. And it was kind of me. I think these are interesting tools to help kind of get back in touch with what you like and what inspires you and what's important to you. And there were a few others, I think the artist's prayer was on there, but honestly I didn't really know what to write because it jumps ahead in the book and I don't want to spoil anything for myself, so I will get back to the artist's prayer when I get to it. So I think one task that I thought was interesting but I am still not sure what to do with is where she asks what is a situation in your life that you are kind of stuck in, that you know you should change, and what's keeping you from changing it. And honestly, I don't know. I think I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I quit my job, even though that was maybe a questionable thing to do. It was really making me miserable, and I felt stuck there. So I just bit the bullet and did that. Started going to the gym. I think, if anything, the thing that I should probably change soon is getting a job, which I am not totally ready to think about yet, but I know I will get there pretty soon. So, all right, in summary, this was a very challenging week, but I think I've learned a lot from it. Now I just have to stay dedicated in applying what I've learned and improving my work ethic. Next week is about recovering a sense of possibility. And from the short description of the beginning of the chapter, I think it's going to be really interesting. So stay tuned for that. Thank you, as always, for watching, for commenting, liking, subscribing, and I will see you next week. Bye.